I know so many people who have motivation in one part of their life, but they lack it in others. So, some people are extremely motivated at work. They're driven and they're successful, and we see this greatness in them, and then they don't have that same energy at home. What have you found in your research that might separate those?
Super interesting. So we all have multiple goals in life, right? Like we have we ask people, we have financial goals, we have health goals, we have relationship goals. We want to explore the world. We want to stay in one place and make a difference there. And as you can tell from just my example, some of these goals don't quite fit with others. Other goals are in harmony. We are more passionate about some than others, and this emphasis is going to change as we grow, okay, as we develop. We often see that someone figured out how to handle one aspect of their life, but the other aspects are a bit messy. Okay, maybe you got your health under control, but not quite the relationship side, or vice versa. And then we ask, is it because these goals seem not to be in harmony? Should we teach ourselves how to connect the goals? Is the reason that something else is not working is because it doesn't feel like it's a good fit with what I'm doing, or that I don't use the set of strategies that is so effective for one goal when pursuing the other?
It's super interesting. For me, when I was in my 20s and I built out this life model that I've used my entire career and coached and taught, I did it for that exact reason, in that I kept feeling like I was out of balance in different areas, but I was succeeding in others. And what was it that I was prioritizing? And I was finding that when I could go through my checklist and just brain dump all the things that had to do with the who's in my life, the what who did I love, why did I love them, what was I trying to accomplish with them, and I could get it all out of my brain, then I could go to work and wealth and impact and purpose and get it all out of my brain. I could start to prioritize where I was missing. And so for me, it was what you were just mentioning. It was a realignment tool, because it was so many things were working in one area, but usually when they were working in one area, I was losing in another, and I was losing too much in the other. So it was very imbalanced. And so the goal for me was always to balance the imbalance. It was always going to be off kilter. It was always going to be imbalanced. But how could I keep the same motivation I had in this area to apply it here? And part of it was just keeping it top of mind and remembering that this is something that matters to me, bringing it back up, writing it down, keeping it in front of my mind.
Yes, so this is a great start, Scott. Just like being thoughtful and aware of what are your goals. Okay? And when I work with people, we start with let's just think: what are your financial goals? What are your health goals? What are your familial goals? What are your community goals? What's on your plate? Okay, the second step is what needs to stay on your plate and what you could put away for a little bit. Okay? Maybe it doesn't fit right now. Okay, maybe your desire to travel the world doesn't quite fit having young children at home. Okay, so let's put it aside for now. Some goals maybe they're not really goals; they're temptations. Okay, they should just never be there. Okay, yeah, and maybe this is something that's no longer healthy for me, and I should not be doing. Maybe it was never healthy for me. Okay, and now you have the goals that are on your plate. Okay, and now we need to be able to find harmony as opposed to seeing this conflict, and there are ways to do that. To give you a concrete example, many people report that they see their health and family goals as in conflict, or their health and professional goals as in conflict. Okay, basically, this is my a college student telling me that it's either meeting deadlines at school or getting a full night's sleep. But you cannot do both. Okay, or a parent saying it's either taking care of my children or exercising, but I really cannot fit both. And then I ask the college student, well, do you really believe that health and mental health, which is getting sleep, is in conflict with academic success? Well, no. Right? Clearly, you will not be academically successful unless you get full night's sleep. Clearly, you are not going to be a good parent if your health suffers. So I can see why on the local level they seem to compete for time, right? But they are in harmony, and we need to organize the day and the week so that everything that is harmonious is being served.
Yeah, I also, as I got older, I spent so much time when I was younger on what I would call the top quadrants, or the top two, which was the who's and the impact. So, who did I love and what was I doing in my life? But the reality was the secret was always below that. The secret always lied in the foundational structure to that point about the college students. If I was healthy and I had a healthy mind, body, and spirit, I was much better for the people that I loved. I was more successful at work. I was accomplishing more, and I was doing so where I felt good doing it. And if I put that success or my role or the control in front of my bigger why, which was my faith and foundation, I was usually empty no matter what I achieved. And so, to your point, it's funny how the simplicity of what you're describing to the college student, it's like, listen, if you get more sleep, you're going to be a more successful student. I can assure you, because that extra anxious 2 to 3 hours you're staying up with probably negative habits are not helping the end result of you becoming a much better human, not just a much better student. And I think that it's funny how the formula can be so simple, but it can feel so complicated.
Yeah, I completely agree. It does feel complicated. We often feel overwhelmed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. In particular, in our modern society, in our fast moving world, it's just too hard to get overwhelmed. It's too hard to control your goals, and so we say whatever. We just respond to the situation, and that goes back to where we started. Well, we respond to the situation, but you know what? We can shape the situation so that we respond the way we wanted.
Yeah, it's super interesting. You often talk about the difficult middle. What happens when the difficult middle lasts for years? So when that happens and you get into that spot, what happens when it lasts for years?
So let's first identify the middle problem. When we set a goal, we say, let's do it. We are often very excited. Okay? At the beginning, we are super excited. We are going to do it. If the goal has an end, okay, some of them do. Okay, I don't know. Maybe you have like a workout and you're about to finish it. Okay, you had some saving goal and you're about to hit it. And toward the end, we see again the increase in motivation. In the middle, any action that you take feels like a drop in the bucket. Okay, it doesn't feel like it's doing much, and like the goal is not on your mind, and this is when people kind of lose their motivation. So, well, we want to, as far as much, sorry, as much as we can, get rid of the middles. Okay, we want to make middles short. Basically, we want to take like these lifelong goals and make them sufficiently short so that there is less of a middle. Many times we do it intuitively. We want to exercise for life, but most people have a weekly exercise goal, okay, or a daily exercise goal, and so there is less of a middle. Okay, we want to save for old age, and We want to have retirement savings, which is a very, very long-term goal, particularly for a young person just starting their career. Will we make it into an annual goal? Okay, yeah. What is it that I want to achieve this year? Salespeople, okay, yeah, that's their job. They want to always sell, okay, but they try to set a monthly sales goals, and anything that allows for less of a middle would mean that the next action that you take, the next achievement, seems to be moving the needle. Okay, that there is a sense of progress. We have to feel like there is progress as people. We have to feel like we are going somewhere. If we don't feel the progress, we find it hard to stay motivated.
Yeah, I was just in an interview I did last week on time. Um, we were talking, and the guest was referencing reading War and Peace, and she had said that she always wanted to read War and Peace, and it seemed so daunting, such a big book that she would, you could start it and then it wouldn't finish. So she broke it up into small bites, and she read every single day. And I think she read it in X number of days. Maybe it was a year or I forget the exact layout. And then I referenced the Bible, the same thing. I broke it up into 15 to 20-minute increments on a daily basis. There was always enough time to do 15 to 20 minutes, but there isn't enough time to once you start it and then you look at how far you have to go. When you focus on that end, that middle becomes so daunting. And the same thing with diet or exercise. There's no result in the very beginning, and it can feel so frustrating. But if I control what I can control, which is just showing up every day, and I do this now, if I can't get the 20 to 30 minutes or an hour in that I want, sometimes I get 10 minutes in. And just getting that 10 minutes helps me move the needle versus trying to do all of it every time the way that I intended from the beginning or the end. So YouTube has this cool feature where they pick the next video for you, and it's right here on this screen. So I hope you enjoy this next video.